here at Crown Hill Memorial Park. I'm visiting the grave of Bonnie Parker and her mother right here, Emma Parker. You can see people have left a lot of nice things here. So let me read what they have on her tombstone. As the flowers are all made sweeter by the sunshine and the dew, so this old world is made brighter by the lives of the folks like you. This right here is a location where Bonnie Parker's funeral was held. It was McKamy-Campbell Funeral Home, which was located at 19214 Forest Avenue in South Dallas. That's right here. So this is what's left of the area. Here's a little bit better view of the area. McKamy-Campbell Funeral Home. So if you type in 19214 Forest Avenue, which that was the old address of the building would have sat up in here. Now you got to understand, this was a long time ago. This is back in 1934, so the area has changed a lot. So if you look at the pictures on the internet, it looks totally different from what it looks like now. Bonnie Parker's funeral was held on Saturday, May 26, 1934, at McKamy-Campbell Funeral Home in Dallas, Texas. While thousands of curious onlookers gathered outside, the service itself was attended by family, close friends, and associates. Key attendees and participants: the Parker family, Bonnie's mother, Emma Parker, and her brother, Hubert Buster Parker, were in attendance. Her younger sister, Billy Parker, was also reported to be present, having received a temporary leave from prison to attend the service. The Barrow family. Despite the Parker's family's refusal to bury Bonnie near Clyde, Clyde's parents, Henry and Cumi Barrow, attended her funeral. Clyde's brother, L.C. Barrow, served as one of the pallbearers. Officiants and staff. The service was conducted by Rev. Andrews and led by funeral director Alan D. Campbell. Dooley M. Hughes performed a solo during the music portion of the service. The public. Reports of public attendance vary widely, with estimates ranging from 20 to 40,000 people who crowded the funeral home and the surrounding streets to catch a glimpse of the procession. Notable tributes, flowers and cards, floral arrangements were sent from across the country. Notably, the largest floral tribute was sent by a group of Dallas City newsboys, as the news of the duo's death had significantly boosted newspaper sales. Outlaw tributes, cards allegedly from fellow outlaws John Dillinger and Pretty Boy Floyd were also reportedly among the flowers. The scene. McKamy-Campbell Funeral Home in Dallas was packed, with the crowd spilling out into the streets. The mood was a mix of morbid curiosity, morbid fascination, and genuine sorrow. From the few who loved her, in essence, it was a public spectacle, more a reflection of her notoriety than a gathering of deep personal connections, according to Texas Monthly. Bonnie Parker was born in 1910 in Texas to a struggling family, becoming known for her bright personality and talents in the arts. At 16, she married Roy Thornton, but their relationship ended due to his imprisonment. Parker's life took a significant turn in 1930 when she met Clyde Barrow, a seasoned criminal. Here's a picture of Roy Thornton in the middle, Bonnie Parker's mother on the right, and Bonnie Parker on the left. In 1926, Bonnie Parker married Roy Thornton. They never really divorced, but their relationship ended in 1929 when Roy Thornton went to prison and got into trouble with the law. Bonnie Parker still wore his ring until the day she passed away. So like I've probably stated in my other videos that I've put out, Bonnie Parker wanted to be buried with Clyde Barrow, but her mother right here didn't want that to happen, so she was buried right here. Now, she was actually at another cemetery, and they moved her over here in 1945. Bonnie Parker was originally buried at Fish Trap Cemetery in West Dallas, but she was moved to Crown Hill Memorial Park in 1945, which is this cemetery right here. They did that to protect her grave from being vandalized, so they wanted to bring her here next to her mom. Jean Harlow had a movie called Platinum Blonde, and that was a big hit back in the early 1930s. And Bonnie Parker would watch her movies, and she would also read books, and she liked cinema. She used to go to silent pictures in the early 1920s when she was in high school. And she would write poetry. Bonnie Parker's love for movies. Bonnie Parker was an avid fan of movies and Hollywood culture long before she became a notorious outlaw. Bonnie Parker's passion for movies. Growing up, Bonnie Parker performed in school plays and pageants and dreamed of becoming a movie star. She reportedly told her friends they would one day see her name in the lights on the silver screen. Magazine collections. She was a frequent reader of romance and movie magazines. Law enforcement officers often discovered these magazines in the getaway cars and hideouts abandoned by the Barrow Gang. Media and fame. Her fascination with fame influenced how she and Clyde Barrow presented themselves. They staged photos and sent poems to newspapers, essentially directing their own real-life drama for public consumption. Other interests. In addition to her interest in Hollywood, Parker was a bright student who excelled at writing poetry and photography. Bonnie Parker's poetry. Bonnie Parker wrote several poems, famously including the story of Bonnie and Clyde, also called The Trail's End. While most of these poems were written from jail, using her writing to shape her and Clyde's outlaw legend as folk heroes, with themes of devotion, crime, and tragic ends. Despite poor education, these poems, filled with gangster slang and spelling errors, were discovered after raids and published in newspapers, creating a sensationalized image of the infamous duo. Here are a few Bonnie Parker's poems, starting with the most famous one she did, The Story of Bonnie and Clyde, The Trail's End. Her most famous work, written in jail, portraying herself and Clyde as tragic figures caught in a life of crime, defying authority and facing death, as seen in lines like, "I'm about to cash in, but I'm glad I run with you." And one of her other poems, I'll Stay, a short devoted poem to Clyde, emphasizing internal loyalty. Bonnie Parker was born in Renoa, Texas on October 1st, 1910. While she was born in Renoa, she spent most of her upbringing in West Dallas, where her family moved in 1914 following her father's death. Key details: her early life include birthplace Renoa, Texas, is located in Runnels County, southwest of Fort Worth. Childhood home: after her father died, her mother, Emma Parker, moved the family to a suburb of Dallas, then known as Cement City. Education: she attended Eagle Ford Elementary School in West Dallas and was known as an honor student who excelled in creative writing and poetry. Bonnie Parker's early career. Before meeting Clyde Barrow in 1930, she worked as a waitress at Marco's Cafe in East Dallas. Here's a short poem, I'll Stay, by Bonnie Elizabeth Parker. Just like the rambling roses round the porch in the summer dew, though all the world forgot you, that's the way I'll cling to you. Just like the sturdy ivy on the castle crumbling stone, I'll cling to you and love you, and you'll never be alone. Just like the stars in heaven cling around the moon at night, I'll stay with you forever, wherever you are, wrong or right. Just like the perfume lingers on a rose until it dies, I'll stay with you and guide you with the love light in my eyes. Just like an old song longing on an exile's lonely breast, I'll stay with you, gladly help to build a humble nest. Just like the rambling roses round the porch in summer dew, though skies are gray, my sweetheart, I'll always stay with you. Outlaws, Billy the Kid and Clyde Barrow by Bonnie Parker. Billy rode on a Pinot horse, Billy the Kid I mean, and he met Clyde Barrow riding into a little gray machine. Billy drew his Breno rein and Barrow stopped his car, and the dead man talked to the living man under the morning star. Billy said to Barrow boy, and this the way you ride, in a car that does its 90 per machine gun seconds each side. I only had my Pinot horse, and my 6-gun tried, and true, I could not shoot, but they got me, and someday they will get you. For the men who live like you and me are playing a losing game. In the way we shoot or the way that we ride, it's all about the same. And like all of us, many never hope, but for death, set us free. For the living are always after you, and the dead are after me. Then out of the east arose the sound of hoofbeats with the dawn, and Billy pulled his rein and said, I must be moving on. And out of the west came the glare of the light and the drone of the motor song, and Barrow set his foot on the gas and shouted back, so long. So into the east Clyde Barrow rode, and Billy into the west. The living man who came now no peace, and the dead who can now no rest. The photo you're looking at right now was taken as a very rare photo of Bonnie Parker's family and Clyde Barrow's family. The bottom right is Bonnie Parker. Next to her is her mother with her arm over her shoulder is Emma Parker. Billy Parker is Bonnie Parker's sister. That's to the left. Clyde Barrow's older brother, Jack Barrow. Next to Jack Barrow is Clyde Barrow's mother, Cummie T. Walker. And then you see Clyde Barrow next to his mom. Blanche Barrow is to the far left, at the top left, the one that Clyde Barrow has his arm over. That was Buck's wife. That's Clyde Barrow's other older brother. And I believe Buck is the one taking the picture. So this photo was taken around the time that Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow were on the run. If you see from the picture, Bonnie Parker's mom, Emma Parker, and Cummie T. Walker, Clyde Barrow's mom, they don't look really happy during this photo. I guess they knew that their children were on the run and, their time might have been coming to an end. Just you want the best for your children. So this had to be a rough time for both families on both sides. As far as where this photo is taken, from what I'm gathering, at first I thought it was Louisiana, but I don't think Bonnie Parker's mom, Emma Parker, and Clyde Barrow's mom, Cummie T. Walker, would have traveled to Louisiana. So I think this was a secret meetup spot somewhere in Texas, close to Louisiana, maybe for sure outside of Dallas. So I don't think this was in Louisiana. So I believe this was in Texas where this photo was taken. The Street Girl by Bonnie Parker. You don't want to marry me, honey, though just to hear you ask me is sweet. If you did, you'd regret it tomorrow, for I'm only a girl of the street. Time was when I was gladly have listened, before I was tainted with shame, but it wouldn't be fair to you, honey. Men laugh when they mention my name. Back there on the farm in Nebraska, I might have said yes to you then, but when I thought the world was a playground, just teeming with Santa Claus men, so I left the old home for the city to play in its mad, dirty world, never knowing how little of pity it holds for a slip of a girl. You still think I'm good looking, honey, but no, I am faded and spent. Even Helen of Troy would look seedy. If she followed the space I went. But that day I came, and from the country, with my hair down my back in a curl, though the length and the breadth of the city, there was never a prettier girl. I soon got a job in the choirs, with nothing but looks and a forum. I had a new man every evening, and my kisses were thrilling and warm. I might have sold them for a fortune to some older sugar daddy with dough, but youth called to youth for its lover. There was plenty that I did not know. Then I fell for the line of a junkier, a slim, devoted of hop, and those dreams and the juice of the poppy had got me before I got to stop. But I didn't care while he loved me. Just to lie in his arms was a delight. But his adorer grew cold, and he left me in a Chinatown hop joint one night. Well, I didn't care then what happened. A China took me under his wing, and down there in the hovel of hell, I labored for hop and I'll sing. Oh no, I'm no longer a junker. The police came and got me the day, and I took the one cure that is certain, that island out there in the bay. Don't spring that old gag of reforming. A girl hardly ever goes back. Too many are eager, waiting to guide her feet off the track. A man can break every commandment, and the world will still lead him a hand. Yet a girl that has a loved, but unwisely, and an outcast all over the land. You see how it is, don't you, honey? I'd marry you now if I could. I'd go with you back to the country. But I know it won't do you any good, for I'm only a poor branded woman, and I can't get away from the past. Goodbye, and God bless you for asking, but I'll stick out now till the last. The Street Girl by Bonnie Parker.